Hey guys, before we start today's video, I just want to put a little caveat into the video. This video is not meant to bash any other company's sensors or anything like that. It's simply to show the progression and the technology that we've come up with the RIFE sensor stuff, and to show you guys what's out there, how it's priced competitively, how it's installed, and everything in between. Now, while it is super frustrating that some of the older technology sensors die, we're not trying to bash anybody, but we do believe in progressing technology, progressing the durability of the cars we're building and the quality of the builds. And again, that's kind of what drives our business from top to bottom, front to back. We're trying to make a better piece that's something you can rely on, not break the bank, and provide you something that gives you better, faster data, that's more quality and hopefully fails less. Please don't take this as a bashing. On Mullet, there's multiple different brands of sensors. Our goal is to improve the quality of all of it across the board and to provide new technology so that these guys can race, depend on what they're reading, and have less sensor failures. Anyways, back to the video. Hope you enjoy it. All right, guys, we are at Cleetus shop. We're going to be switching Mullet over to the RIFE stuff.
It's happening.
It's happening. So, you know, the RIFE stuff is obviously one of the brands that Cleetus owns, so what better car to have it on than Mullet? And so you got some work to do over here, huh? Getting ready for Texas 2K?
Yep, just getting some new valves put in, same stuff. Maybe a little better with the seat jobs, so hopefully they last, but I think the RIFE's going to help us a lot more with our coolant pressure and whatnot.
No more sensor failures.
No more sensor failures.
That's
So
what we're going for.
Yes.
honestly, we bought this company because we were excited about it. We're not excited about it because we bought it. I guess we kind of are, but these sensors are purposely designed to live in environments that like this type of vehicle is gonna, you gotta think a drag and drive vehicle is putting more vibration, more heat, more stress on sensors than anything else out there. So yeah, so I mean, a remote sensor is good. The way we designed and made these sensors is even more durable. So this is something he can depend on. They're faster, they're more accurate, and it's gonna be fun to see how they perform on this. Hopefully there's just like no news is good news, right?
For sure.
Hopefully you just don't ever have to worry about it again. So, so Zach's gonna be rewiring some sensors and getting it ready for Texas 2K. Looks like you got a heck of a job ahead of you.
Yep.
So one of the benefits of these sensors is they're actually dual isolated from vibration internally. They float inside of here. We have one for wastegate dome pressure. This one's going to be on a transmission converter charge and line pressure, and then we have a general engine one. It's going to be 4-bar, and then oil and fuel pressure at 200 psi. All of these are pretty unique in the fact that they use just one power and one ground per block. So the nice thing about that is you're not having to split your 5-volt sensors and 5-volt grounds and all that stuff. Also, internally they are protected, so there's actual circuit boards in there, so if some sensor decided to fail at some point, it doesn't pull all the rest of them down to full 5 volts or all the way down to ground, depending on how it fails. So that's pretty cool. And then we're going to throw our coolant temp, IATs, and everything else in the car.
As a wiring guy, you have to appreciate this. Look at this wire. If you're using Rachem or anything like that, you really want this thin shielded wire so it looks better, smaller,
Yep.
wound up together. I mean, I don't know many other companies that are giving you this kind of wire. This is good stuff. Flying lead, no pinning. You know these pins are good right out the box.
Yep, so we put all these harnesses pre-made together. They're 9 foot long, so they'll literally go basically from anywhere in a car to the middle where you're gonna have your computer. And the nice thing is they're super small because we're just talking about sensor wiring, so they're not big bulky bundles of wiring. So for a job like this, Zach's got tons of stuff to do. Being able to take that harness and just terminate it on the other end is gonna be quick and easy.
Nice
and make it easy for him to adapt it to a car that's already running and driving and existing on an EFI system. It's on our dual block, so this is the one that's going to be mounted on the transmission. We're going to use this bracket. It mounts off of the side of the tranny pan, but it uses on the dual, triple, and even single, we have extra outputs. So as you can see, there's 6 pins in there. 2 of them are going to be used for for your actual pressure signals. The other 2 are power and ground, and then that leaves 2 open, which means that we can have signals for 2 additional sensors. So we put these M5 style connectors on the end, basically as a kind of an input-output expander. And these little quick connect M5 cables are nice because you can quickly put that there, and then we make temperature sensors that are that same style. So this can go on, as a temperature in the pan for the transmission. You can run that over to here, and then you just have one bundle of wiring going to ECU. You don't have 2 from 2 different pressure or temperature sensors going, and then that, and splitting powers and grounds and everything. It just makes it super easy, and your power and your wiring bundle just goes to one simple location. And we're going to see, where everything lays out the best, and from there start running wiring. I think we're going to wrap everything in Raycom and everything, so it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a clean little install, and these sensors are gonna be something they can depend on and be really good. The other nice thing is, these look like a permanent kind of thing, but you can pop the lid off with just these screws, and these sensor, I call them slugs, just pull right out of here. They unplug from the board in there real easy, and then you can put them in. So not only if one ever did go bad, you can switch it out, but also if you wanted to upgrade that to like a 200 or 500, 1600, whatever, it's pretty quick and easy to do, and you don't have to like rewire it and put different plugs on it.
Yeah, one of those lifetime pieces. You buy once, cry once with this, because once you have this piece, you can make it whatever you need it to be.
Yep. And by the way, these blocks are actually less expensive than buying individual sensors from most of the EFI companies, so it's kind of a win-win. But that's not why we're doing it today. We're doing it to show you guys and give them a little bit better sensor setup.
No more failing sensors. Hashtag it.
So one of the unique things about this product line is, sensors have been sensors since literally the beginning of time. Since I got into cars back in the early 2000s till now, 100 PSI sensor was 100 PSI sensor. There's really been no technology advancements. That was kind of the reason why RIFE was brought about. You have a faster, more accurate sensor, and we might as well do something about making them live longer, because sensors aren't exactly cheap, and if you're going to have a sensor, you might as well have a good one. You might as well have one that lasts longer, because
For sure.
there's nothing more frustrating than being at the track and having a sensor die, and if you don't have a backup, you're done. All right, guys, so Zach did a nice job of mounting this in a kind of discreet place. Nice work, Zach. He's got the main engine one mounted up here. You can see the M5 cable is connected to the temperature sensor, so that one's pretty much already done.
Oil temp's done.
Yep, so you got some 3AN lines that you're going to run over to here. 4-bar will just hook up to the intake, and then you got one down here for the transmission, and it looks like one right here for wastegate, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Nice and easy to mount, though, You
Yep.
just buy all these pre-made links.
Yep.
Don't even have to make the hoses.
Yep.
And
the nice,
that's if you're using fluid. Then it gets even easier for pressure.
yeah, so if you have push to connect line,
Yeah.
these come in 3AN male, which is that, or 1/8" NPT female, which is, like you said, way easier even yet.
And then you just buy all these 1/8" to -3AN.
Yep.
Any
You got everything you need.
configuration, you're done.
And we got those on the website, or you can get them wherever. It's just fitting. So from here, all you're gonna do is wiring. We get a lot of questions about like how accurate is the pressure, being remote mounted and stuff. Most every race car is built like this, especially like the high end stuff, simply because they're trying to basically save the sensors from dying. Especially fluid and air. These situations aren't, it'd be different if you mounted that in the bed of the vehicle. Not everybody's got an El Camino, but it really loses very little to no accuracy having it, especially anywhere in the slight vicinity of where they're at. So really no concern there. So we get that question a lot. I just wanted to kind of put it to rest for you guys. I've been running this RIFE sensor for probably like 2-3 years on my personal Nova. Basically in a similar location. It's actually on my frame rail right here, but no failures, more than accurate, no issues, and these guys are gonna benefit from the same stuff, I think. So we got the new dome pressure sensor all plumbed up. That was actually pretty easy. Just remove the old one, which I had in line here. The nice thing about that single pressure sensor is that you can take the old wiring plug and just wire it right to this plug. So you can either run new wiring or splice in however you want to do it. It's just going to be 5-volt power, ground, and sensor, just like the 3 pins here, just a little bit different plug. And we got some hoses ran for fuel pressure and oil, and a push to connect for the map sensor. So this part of it's basically done. Like I said before, the actual the coolant temp is actually all done on this M5, so all that wiring will be incorporated into this one plug. It's actually gonna be pretty easy to take this all this manifold stuff off in the future, to be honest with you. So it looks a little daunting just because it's different wiring, but in the end of the day, 1 power, 1 ground, and then some sensor wires. So even if you ran a whole new bundle of wires back to the ECU, it's pretty simple and quick to do. And like I said, you don't have a bunch of branches coming off, so you literally have one branch that can go directly to the ECU. So if you want to cut out the old sensor wiring or incorporate it into that, it's kind of your choice. But you have a lot of options as far as all that goes. So guys, one of the coolest things about the wiring of these RIFE sensors, like I said before, is the simplicity. If you've ever wired 5-volt sensors on a car before, you know how frustrating it is to basically separate the power and ground. So this is for our quad block, our triple block, and our dual block. So that means there's 6 wires. They all share the same connection, and I'll tell you how that works. But the neat thing about these sensors is, and I don't know if I even grabbed the two, not sure if I grabbed the 2 right wires because I don't have the wiring diagram in front of me, but the wiring diagram's on the website. It's all standard. On these plugs, only 1 ground and 1 5-volt reference power is needed to power all of the actual sensors itself. So that means these other 4 wires are just signal wires that are going to the ECU to read pressure, temperature, whatever. So that's why on the dual, so on the quad block, there's going to be 4 pressures or maps, or whatever you want to call it. On the triple, that means there's 1 wire open. That's why there's one of those M5 cables. And on a dual, there's going to be 2 open. So that's why you can put 2 expandable M5 connections on it. The other part of this is, because they all share 1 power and ground, we actually have a circuit board inside of these that distributes the power and ground. So if a sensor dies, it doesn't take down all the other sensors with it. It just distributes it and doesn't allow it to backfeed. So it creates a protected circuit that's also easy to wire, because if you've ever wired before and you have to start splitting those grounds and powers, it gets really annoying, doesn't it, Zach?
Oh yeah, you don't want to split 18 wires.
Yep, because if you have 18 sensors and 1 5-volt reference or 2,
yep,
you're gonna have to have all those junctions to split it from 1 wire to 9 other directions, and there's really not like a super clean way to do that.
Yeah.
And
plus you get 2 RIFE sensors, then instead of having, say, your average car has 12 sensors on the engine, you've only got 2 splices to 5-volt and
that's
ground
true. Yep.
out of 1 and go to each block.
Yep. So the other thing about having to splice it is if one of those goes to fault ground or to open, it's going to drag the other sensors down with it. And unfortunately, sometimes it's hard to diagnose which actual sensor is bad. So you're having to unplug each sensor. Because this has a circuit board protected inside of it, the bad sensor is going to be the bad sensor. The rest of them are going to be operating as normal. So,
and then 1 goes bad, you don't want to end up like Leroy and 60 pounds of boost just because 1 sensor went bad. It'll prevent the rest from failing. Yeah,
the rest don't go down with it. And then if you have safeties, they can operate properly, because the safeties are only as good as what's the data that's there. Exactly. So if a bunch of them all go bad and a perfect storm of bad sensors happens, I don't know. It's possible that it could go really, really wrong.
Yeah.
So that's one of the cool things. It makes it really easy to wire, makes it really easy to diagnose if you ever did have an issue. Sam, you're doing a great job cleaning all that stuff.
It's supposed to be.
And
so when it stands on its wheel, you can see it's got a clean oil pan.
There you go. Clean oil pan. And not only that, you're also able to diagnose what sensor is bad when, if it is in fact bad, and go from there. So Zach, you just installed the RIFE sensors.
Yep.
I'd love to say that's the reason why you went 6s, but we know there's other reasons. What's your recap and what are your thoughts? Because you really didn't have a whole lot of knowledge about them before, right?
No, definitely people need to know about these things because I knew nothing about them. I got them handed to me one day.
We kind of had to talk you into
Racing.
it, right?
Exactly. You guys had to talk me into it. I wanted to throw Holley sensors on it. But then Doug came in, took one apart, showed me how they're swappable sensors, how you can literally take this and put a different pressure in it. And I mean, look how clean this looks. You got all your wiring going to one spot. It's so much easier. It's out the heat, on the firewall, out of vibration. It's way better setup.
From a wiring standpoint, what do you think about it?
Too easy.
Too easy.
Way less wires. No more 5-volt sensor grounds running all over the place.
What do you think, Nate?
I like the RIFEs.
I'm trying not to tell them. I don't want to tell everybody that that's why you guys want 6s. Because
Yeah.
I want to actually give you the credit, but
it's a coincidence, right?
it's a
We
coincidence.
bought a car. Well, we have so many vibrations running through the body of our cars now, you know. Sam's got these things
lot of
buffed up.
vibration. It's mostly
Vibrating
off
those
track.
sensors to death. Now we got the RIFE, they're potted, the vibration resistant, we don't got to worry anymore.
So there you have it, guys. The reason why Mullet went 6s. Not really, but kind of. All right. Thanks for giving us a recap, man.
TikTok, you're done. You're out of here. TikTok, you're done. You're out of here.
TikTok, you're done. You're out of here.
TikTok, 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 TikTok.